These ancient walls have stood the test of time, bearing witness to centuries of history, conflict, and culture. From walls built entirely of human skeletons to underwater fortifications that shouldn't exist, today we're going to uncover 12 incredible ancient walls that still exist and the mind-blowing secrets they've been guarding for thousands of years. Deep beneath St. Bavo's Cathedral in Ghent, Belgium, one of archaeology's most unsettling discoveries came to light during construction of a new visitor center. Workers uncovered 9 walls built entirely from human remains. Archaeological project leader Jannicke de Grijs confirmed that over 1,000 skeletons were used. The walls date to the 17th century, when the cathedral's graveyard was cleared. At the time, Christian belief held that resurrection required preserved bones, so officials could not simply discard them. Their solution was to incorporate the remains into the cathedral structure. Workers chose the strongest bones, mainly legs, believing they were enough to safeguard resurrection. These walls were never meant to be seen. Church leaders, aware that such constructions would alarm the faithful, buried them deep within the cathedral foundations. Centuries later, they have been carefully removed and transferred to the University of Ghent, where researchers are studying the remains to learn more about the individuals and the practices that led to this macabre form of preservation. Few ancient fortifications are as storied as the walls of Troy. For centuries, scholars have argued whether the city of King Priam was historical or merely the setting of Homer's epics. Legend claimed its walls, said to be built by the gods, withstood a decade-long Greek siege before yielding to the ruse of the Trojan horse. In the 19th century, German archaeologist Heinrich Schliemann excavated the site of Xi'an on Turkey's northwest coast, confirming that Troy was a real city. Archaeology has since revealed multiple layers of settlement, each with formidable defenses rebuilt over centuries. The walls of Troy V, dating to the late Bronze Age, show signs of violent destruction around 1200 BC, a period that coincides with the decline of Mycenaean civilization. These traces suggest that the legendary conflict described by Homer may reflect real events tied to the wider collapse of the Bronze Age. Constructed of massive limestone blocks, some weighing several tons, the walls demonstrate a level of engineering that challenges assumptions about Bronze Age technology. Recent excavations indicate they enclose not only the citadel but also a sprawling lower city that housed thousands of inhabitants, underscoring Troy's importance as both a fortress and a thriving urban center. Beneath modern Mexico City, archaeologists have uncovered the remains of the Xi'an, a massive Aztec skull tower once standing near the Templo Mayor. Built under Emperor Ahuitzotl around 1486, it displayed thousands of human heads taken through war and rituals. The first section, found in 2015, contained 119 skulls. Continued excavations have since revealed 484 skulls embedded in mortar, though scholars believe this represents only part of the original structure. Historical accounts suggest the tower once displayed thousands, forming a symbol of Aztec religious devotion and political power. The victims were not only captured warriors but also men, women, and children, indicating the breadth of practices. For the Aztecs, this was vital to sustain the cosmos and appease the gods, requiring a constant flow of victims from warfare and tribute. The Xi'an served multiple purposes. It honored deities, projected fear among rivals, and demonstrated the empire's reach. Today, its excavation provides rare physical evidence of rituals long described in Spanish chronicles, offering both a stark reminder of Aztec brutality and a deeper understanding of their belief system. Beneath the sands of Saqqara, one of Egypt's richest necropolises, French Egyptologist Dr. Vasco Dobrev has spent 3 decades searching for a lost pyramid. He believes it may be the unfinished tomb of Pharaoh Userkare, one of the most mysterious rulers of the 6th dynasty. Saqqara, about 20 miles south of Cairo, is already home to the step pyramid of Djoser and numerous other royal tombs. Yet Dobrev suggests more pyramids remain hidden, their outlines detectable in surveys of the plateau. His scans reveal buried right angles consistent with artificial construction, which he interprets as the foundations of Userkare's pyramid. Userkare appears briefly on the Abydos king list, ruling after Teti and before Pepii around the late 24th century BC. Beyond his name, history is silent. Some scholars speculate that he seized power after Teti's death, only to be quickly overthrown, which could explain why no tomb or monument survive. If Dobrev is correct, the discovery would solve a major Egyptological mystery and suggest that many more royal structures lie beneath Egypt's deserts. The sands of Saqqara may yet conceal monuments that could reshape our understanding of the Old Kingdom and its rulers. Rising above the Adriatic, the walls of Dubrovnik rank among the best-preserved medieval fortifications in the world. Yet behind their stonework lies a story of survival, diplomacy, and defiance. The city, once known as Ragusa, emerged in the 7th century when refugees from nearby Epidaurus sought protection from invasions. From the 8th century onward, limestone defenses were built and expanded, evolving over nearly a millennium into one of Europe's greatest fortification systems. Constructed between the 9th and 17th centuries, the walls were adapted to withstand both medieval sieges and the firepower of gunpowder weapons. In places they reach nearly 20 feet thick and stretch for about 6,300 feet around the old city. The harbor, Dubrovnik's lifeline, was its most vulnerable point. Here rose the most formidable defenses, St. John's Fortress, which housed the arsenal and guarded the harbor entrance, along with circular and quadrangular towers and bastions that provided overlapping fields of fire. At their height, the walls mounted more than 120 cannons. But these defenses were more than stone and iron. They symbolized the Republic of Ragusa's independence, maintained for centuries by balancing between powerful neighbors and securing protection through trade, wealth, and diplomacy. The walls thus preserved not only a city but the identity of a republic that endured until Napoleon's conquest in 1808. And before we continue unfolding this fascinating discovery, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss any future episodes. Don't forget to share it with your friends too. It helps the channel out, and I'm excited to continue bringing you more awesome content. In Greek mythology, the Garden of the Hesperides lay at the western edge of the world, a paradise tended by nymphs and guarded by the dragon Ladon. Here grew the golden apples of immortality, a wedding gift from Gaia to Hera, and one of the treasures sought by Heracles in his labors. The Hesperides were described as daughters of Nyx or of Atlas, depending on the tradition, and their garden was famed for its beauty and its song. Ancient poets placed it far beyond Greece, in the distant west, a land of wonder that few mortals could hope to reach. While the myth is steeped in symbolism, some historians suggest it may have been inspired by real landscapes that seemed exotic to early Greek travelers. Classical authors often associated the garden with North Africa or the Atlas Mountains, but later theories point toward the Iberian Peninsula. The golden apples may have symbolized fruits unfamiliar to the Greeks, later reimagined as oranges when citrus became a hallmark of the Western Mediterranean. Portugal and Spain, with fertile valleys framed by dramatic sea cliffs, may have offered the kind of landscape that lent itself to myth. To sailors approaching from the sea, these natural barriers could easily be seen as walls guarding a divine garden. The legend of the Hesperides illustrates how distant lands were transformed by storytelling into realms of gods and marvels, reflecting humanity's tendency to mythologize the unknown. The walls of Xi'an stand among China's greatest surviving fortifications, embodying both military strength and the strategic wisdom of imperial rule. Built between 1370 and 1378 under the Hongwu Emperor of the Ming Dynasty, they were inspired by the advice of scholar Zhu Sheng, who counseled, build high walls, store grain, and delay taking the throne. This philosophy of defense first became policy at Xi'an and later shaped Ming governance. The walls were originally constructed from rammed earth, compacted with layers of soil and organic material. In the 16th century, they were reinforced with bricks and stone, greatly extending their durability. Advanced features such as drainage channels, sentry platforms, and watchtowers made the fortifications highly resistant to siege. Stretching nearly 14 kilometers, the structure includes 98 ramparts, each spaced about 120 meters apart, creating a comprehensive surveillance system. 4 great gates, each protected by barbicans and multiple defensive layers, controlled access to the city. Xi'an was once the eastern terminus of the Silk Road, and its walls served not only to repel enemies but also to regulate trade and cultural exchange. Within them, the The city followed a near-rectangular plan reflecting Chinese ideals of harmony and cosmic order. The walls thus reveal as much about urban planning and philosophy as they do about warfare, preserving a legacy of how China balanced defense, governance, even culture within stone and earth. Beneath the clear waters of Lake Constance, on the Swiss side near Romanshorn, lies one of Europe's most puzzling archaeological finds. In 2015, divers and researchers uncovered about 170 stone mounds, each several meters wide, arranged in long rows across the lakebed. Dating to around 5,500 years ago, these enigmatic formations belong to the Neolithic period yet have no clear parallel in European prehistory. The project, led by archaeologist Urs Lusinger, confirmed the structures were built by humans, not natural formations. Thousands of stones were deliberately piled to create cairn-like features, some still standing several feet high. Their sheer number and organization suggest planning and cooperation well beyond the scale of a single village. What purpose they served remains unknown. Some scholars propose they were fish traps, others that they marked ritual landscapes or territorial boundaries. Their alignment and consistency hint at communal construction, perhaps drawing together multiple settlements for a shared goal. When the mounds were built, Lake Constance's water level was much lower, meaning they once stood on dry land. Over millennia, rising waters submerged the entire site, preserving it as an underwater time capsule. The discovery challenges long-held assumptions about Neolithic social complexity and leaves archaeologists facing an enduring mystery. What vision compelled prehistoric communities to build on such a monumental scale along the shores of the Bodensee? The walls of Babylon rank among the most famous fortifications of the ancient world, embodying both engineering skill and imperial power. Though earlier kings such as Hammurabi fortified the city, it was Nebuchadnezzar II from 605 to 562 BC who transformed Babylon into a nearly impregnable stronghold with vast concentric defenses. Ancient writers like Herodotus claimed the walls soared more than 300 feet high and 25 feet thick, figures clearly exaggerated. Though archaeology confirms they were massive, rising several stories and stretching for miles. Built from mud brick, many kiln-fired for durability, they were designed to endure Mesopotamia's harsh climate. The walls were not purely military. Sections, such as the Ishtar Gate, were decorated with glazed blue bricks and reliefs of lions, bulls, and dragons, symbolizing divine protection. Together, the fortifications proclaimed Babylon's strength and its devotion to the gods. Defending a city divided by the Euphrates River posed unique challenges, but Nebuchadnezzar's engineers extended walls across the water and installed gates to block enemy entry. Towers and inner walls created layered defenses that made the city almost unassailable. Yet in 539 BC, Babylon fell to Cyrus the Great of Persia. Rather than storming the walls, his forces diverted the Euphrates, lowering the water enough to march into the city along the river. The city's legendary defenses were thus bypassed by strategy, not brute force. Today, fragments of the walls remain, their scale partly preserved by Iraq's arid climate. Modern reconstructions, though debated for accuracy, still hint at the grandeur of fortifications once celebrated as among the marvels of the ancient world. Do you think Babylon's fall through strategy rather than force shows that intelligence can be more powerful than even the strongest defenses? Let us know in the comments below. Deep in the Ecuadorian Amazon, LiDAR surveys have uncovered one of the most important archaeological discoveries of the 21st century: vast urban landscapes built by the Upano culture more than 2,500 years ago. Hidden beneath dense forest, these earthworks reveal that the Amazon once supported large, sophisticated civilizations long before European contact. The research, led by archaeologist Stephen Rostain and his team, shows a network of over 6,000 platforms, 5 major centers, and at least 10 smaller settlements connected by straight roads and plazas. Covering some 2,000 square miles, the landscape includes agricultural terraces, ceremonial complexes, and monumental earthworks, many constructed by moving millions of tons of soil. The Upano people flourished from about 500 BC to 600 AD, transforming the rainforest into a managed environment of farms, mounds, and causeways. Their engineering included drainage systems, raised fields, and terrace slopes that allowed them to thrive in poor tropical soils. Some long linear features may have served defensive roles, suggesting organized social and political structures. This discovery overturns the long-held belief that the Amazon could only sustain small, nomadic groups. Instead, it reveals complex urban planning that rivals the achievements of other ancient civilizations, though adapted to the rainforest. Around 600 AD, Upano cities were abandoned, perhaps due to climate change, conflict, or ecological stress. Today, the forest has reclaimed them, leaving only LiDAR to show the traces of a civilization that reshapes our understanding of pre-Columbian South America. Amid the streets of modern Edinburgh, fragments of the Flodden Wall recall a moment of national crisis. The wall was built after the Battle of Flodden in 1513, when King James IV and much of Scotland's nobility were killed fighting the English. With the army shattered, Edinburgh feared invasion and rushed to fortify the city. Construction began almost immediately, enclosing about 140 acres of the old town within a circuit that reached 24 feet high in places. Around 10,000 people lived inside its boundaries. Built with whatever materials and labor could be gathered, the wall represented both military defense and a psychological shield for a shaken population. Its very creation gave the city a focus for collective grief and fear. Ironically, the English never marched on Edinburgh. Henry VI turned to other matters, but the wall endured. It served as part of the city's defenses in later conflicts, though its importance declined as Edinburgh expanded beyond the medieval core. Over time, new roads pierced it and buildings, including the University of Edinburgh's Old College, incorporated its stones. Today, surviving stretches stand as scheduled monuments. The best preserved section runs along Greyfriars Kirkyard, where the wall still shapes the landscape 5 centuries after its hurried construction. More than a fortification, it remains a symbol of resilience in the aftermath of one of Scotland's darkest days. In the village of Abahanari in Rajasthan stands Chand Bauri, one of India's deepest and most elaborate stepwells. Built in the 9th century CE, probably by King Chanda of the Nikum dynasty, it descends more than 100 feet into the ground with about 3,500 steps arranged in perfect symmetry across 13 levels. The stepwell combined practicality with spirituality. In Rajasthan's arid climate, it was a vital water source, while its proximity to the Harshat Mata temple suggests it also held ritual significance. The galleries provided cool refuge during scorching summers, turning the site into both a sanctuary and a gathering place. What makes Chand Bauri extraordinary is its engineering. Its steep stairways allow access to water at any level of the water table, while the design maximizes rainwater collection and creates a microclimate of shade and cool air. The precision of its geometry has astonished modern architects, with the structure surviving monsoons and earthquakes for more than a millennium. Local legend, however, gives the stepwell a more mysterious origin. Villagers say that a jinn built the well in a single night, which explains the absence of detailed records about its construction. Stories persist of strange sounds and lights in its depths, adding to its reputation as a place touched by the supernatural. Today, Chand Bauri remains one of the most remarkable achievements of medieval Indian architecture, a site where hydrology, engineering, and artistry came together to create both a life-sustaining resource and a symbol of devotion. What do you think is the most incredible secret revealed by these ancient walls? Have you ever visited any of these mysterious structures, or do you know of other ancient walls with secrets of their own? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let me know which of these discoveries surprised you the most. If you enjoyed today's video, please give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Your support means a lot to us. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for being with us. Leave a comment, like to show your support, and remember to hit that subscribe button for more exciting videos. See you next time.